Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Salmon. I'm outside. I'm out taking the dog for a walk, but I'm also taking my medicine. That's right. By participating in nature, by going outside and wandering, spending some time in a mixed forest, I'm giving myself access to phytoncides. Phytoncides are a volatile chemical, which means they're released on the air, emitted by coniferous trees. So when I invite people to walk in a mixed forest, I'm talking about a forest that is both deciduous and coniferous trees, but it's in the evergreens. That's where the medicine lies. The phytoncides are still actively being released despite, nature being quite cold. It's about, well, call it minus 20 today. That's 5 Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's not entirely comfortable, but I'm prepared. The medicine lies in the phytoncides, the volatile chemicals, airborne. These green trees are still participating in the act of photosynthesis. They're still accessing the energy from the sun, and they're converting that into their own sugars, into their own building blocks. The byproduct of photosynthesis, oxygen, thank you, trees, but it's also trace amounts of water vapor. And on that lies the phytoncides, the volatile airborne chemicals. Now, they're slightly heavier than the air, so they do drop. They're landing on my skin, absorbing through my eyes, in my sinuses, in my lungs. And what they serve for the tree is a form of communication. All right, so it's antimicrobial, it's an insecticide. So if the tree is in need, they're sending messages, maybe there's a need for resources, but maybe there's also the threat of a bacteria or an infection, a disease, or an actual insect. The tree is messaging other trees, so it's time to change your chemicals. It's time to change the way you taste that insect, or it's time for you to start producing this thing that's going to help ward off the infection that I have, hope it doesn't spread, blah, 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 right? So it's a form of communication. When it makes contact with our own body, when it's absorbed into our system, it connects with our K cells, natural killer cells, NK cells, natural killer cells. So much like B cells or T cells, those cells target cells in our own body that are damaged, that are infected, that are mutated, that are different. So the research is showing that the phytoncides emitted by coniferous trees do connect with our own human immune system, and they do benefit for those people who have a need to change their cell chemistry, or who have some cell chemistry that needs to be repaired. So it's just another form, call it alternative medicine, call it forest medicine. Being out in nature in and of itself does heal. All right, it reduces cortisol, helps with your stress management. Nature naturally calms. All right, but that's nature. Let's just go outside, just participate with other living things. But if you can make an intentional visit to a coniferous forest, right, in a mixed forest or coniferous forest, you then have the added benefit of the phytoncides. So it takes about 20 minutes for your body to absorb. And like any other vitamin, all right, any other supplement, if your body's not prepared for it, because there are some interactions with some vitamins that actually need to take place in order to get the full benefit, right? So yeah, vitamin D, you can take all the vitamin D you want, but unless you have the ability to actually interact with sunlight, all right, you're not going to complete that chemical reaction that makes absorption of the vitamin D useful, right? So the same thing applies when making access to phytoncides. You've got to be in a state of calm. Your body can't be receptive to the healing benefits if you're in a current state of stress. All right. So the act of walking in nature, participating in some mindfulness, being present, listening, smelling, just appreciating, maybe expressing some gratitude for the capacity that you have to be physically active, to have made a good choice. All right. So the act of being outside during the day, in trees, having access to fresh air, right? Yeah, you are boosting your vitamin D. You're actually increasing your serotonin levels, and that's a feel-good hormone, while reducing your cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So it takes about 20 minutes for your body to get into that state and to actually be, making that reaction complete. But the phytoncides, you've got to be in a state of calm. The idea is to get your body out of, the sympathetic state, all right? That fight, flight, freeze, right? That stress, all right? So sympathetic is your stress response. You need to get into parasympathetic, all right, where you're calm and you can rest and digest and actually do your body some good. So that's where, getting a little bit of exercise, walking, being outside, being in nature, being mindful, being present, express some gratitude, All those things do help prepare the body, prepare the mind, prepare the heart, your emotional state for a better reception and the ability to participate in the absorption and the connection with phytoncides. So there's a lot of science that started in Japan in the 1980s, and a lot of us know, because we feel it, that we are better after time spent, after time served in nature. So Dr. Quinn Lee in the 1980s published a book advocating the science and backing up the research. I, for about the past 10 years, been participating in forest bathing. I became a certified forest therapy guide through an organization called GIFT, the Global Institute of Forest Therapy and Nature Connection. And their hope is to replicate a lot of those studies that were originally done in the 1980s in Japan using phytoncides from Japanese trees, coniferous trees. GIFT is committed to the same research in Canada on Canadians and participating in research seeing if Canadian phytoncides from Canadian trees, our pines, our cedars, our firs, our spruce, have similar, maybe more, maybe less, but they want to conduct that research to see where it stands. But regardless, nature connection and forest bathing, walks outside have so many physical, mental, and emotional benefits. And having access to phytoncides is just a bonus. So that's why nature prescriptions are becoming more and more possible. There are more advocates, there are more physicians recognizing the added benefits and the science behind other forms of available remedies for common ailments. So next time you're outside, make an intentional effort to find some coniferous trees. Spend about 20 minutes. Just breathe, just be calm. It's good for you. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Appreciate your support. I'll talk to you again soon. Go outside. It's good for us. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.